more amount of time than other American people. Let me show you. You know what? It's really stupid that you would think that I would not know the district attorney, the prosecutor, because I really wanted to go to the bathroom where I had a little thingy going on. It's not really the excuse. Excuse me. What I really don't understand is, and even if you know, it's never going to be an excuse. People are really crazy. I would actually be really need to be tested all the time. So sometimes, I never wanted to move my ass off and I need to go to the bathroom. I couldn't actually, I can't actually get myself, slow down, then actually I would take certain amount of time. That's what happened. No, it's really not like that. You have never actually seen, how little amount of time that I spent before I rushed to that wrongful conclusion. Then you should have never actually see that I was actually taking enormous amount of time or I was confused about it. That's not true. Because you know what? I'm not lying. I didn't really read that. I still remember that. I swear to Lord. And I've already actually proven enough about that. I didn't really actually see that it was really about the criminal side. I didn't really read it. I just actually, what, up until that moment, I really read, put a case to the core. And I always, made up my mind without actually reading the fullness. That's not really a scene. Excuse me. I have never actually been in that way. And I only actually, I've already actually proven that. But, have you not actually wanted how quickly I can actually solve this AP questions? As long as I really read it, I don't mind. It's never been a problem. But I always assume that, put a case to the core. Oh, you mean somebody who brings a case to the core? I know it. Really press it. That's really the thing. It's not me actually getting better than other people. Because, I had urgent present reason that I have to make it really quiet. So I actually finish it. If you're, because what's the problem? What's really the big deal if I just actually get something wrong like the silly quiz? And have you thought about that? Have I really need to go over everything? No, that's not really the case. There could be many different chances if you're actually solving whatever silly questions, even if you're real Korean, you don't actually get everything correct. Even if you actually watch the quiz show, many Korean people that are getting really stupid answers or they're not good enough to actually say the right answer. If you ever actually watch Jeopardy, real Americans are actually get stumped by the very silly questions. That's not really a scene. Let me actually show you. I don't really need to actually make all my life's efforts to get something right. That's a really ridiculous assumption. If you ever actually watching me, oh, that's a really ridiculous assumption. You know what? I really personally believe that no one should make that kind of judgment without actually seeing how little amount of time that I actually spend for anything. I have never actually solved this before again, but let me actually show you. My English works far better than, any other language that I learn. I want to demonstrate. It's a really ridiculous argument. No, I can actually read something much faster than other people. Yeah, no, I'm not lying. That's a really ridiculous argument. Let me actually demonstrate anything. A national judiciary, that sounds really nice. I've never actually touched this area. No, that's not true. I'm actually a genius. I don't really need to. I'm not really 84. Which one is not? Treaties. Interpretation of a state constitution. That's not really the case, eh? I got it. It's really easy. As long as I read it, I don't really need to be wrong about it. Excuse me, I know even this much. Do you honestly believe that I was actually confused about the prosecutor? You're really kind of fucking moron. Excuse me, is there anyone who really actually can analyze someone else's thinking, even if you're really Korean? I had an urgent reason. It's not really the excuse because I've been actually doing this 24 hours. Excuse me, can for 5 minutes to say, if I ever actually really need to go to the bathroom, that I actually didn't really read it and I didn't finish the sentence. You didn't even actually, articulately measure how little amount of that I spent up until I've been actually reaching, someone. I still remember someone who actually brings a case to the core, and you have to finish it. You have to, read the entirety. But you know what? Just like, your mind, was somewhat pressing yourself to quickly finish it because you've been already actually spent 5 hours doing something really wonderfully well. You actually got the perfect record. But you know what? After 5 hours, you just really wanted to put an end to it. You no longer want to do the same thing over and over again. Have you not actually thought about that? My problem is, why am I actually, getting things right all the time? With just one little tiny 1 minute mistake would actually ruin everything. Have you not thought about that? There is no urgency and no obligation that I have to be super perfect. That would not be a life and a death matter. I can casually solve this kind of question. Do you have any idea what this question is about? If you don't really know what, prosecution is, or criminal justice is, I didn't actually read the crime part. The only difference is you have to actually read it thoroughly. But after actually, my problem is always like that because those people are so biased. I already actually spent 7 hours per se, and I did a really great job. And I just actually need a 1 minute to go to the bathroom. But before that, I couldn't actually control my mind. And then what's a really great deal if I ever got something wrong? Think about it. If I ever actually missed this, would that actually immediately affect my future chance and opportunity? No, even if that is so, you can never actually be 24-hour, 24/7. You can never be, perfectly correct to get everything correct without actually, we're not really, it's not really about knowledge. It's not really about the mindset. Can you honestly be focused? Can your, attention span be that much specific and perfect to maintain all the perfection throughout the day with no exception at all after spending 7-8 hours, just 1 minute in a tiny loose mindset, somehow actually dismiss the reading the entirety without actually reaching the criminal or crime. If my mind is truly reaching the very watershed called the crime, then I would have killed myself. I have never actually read it. Oh, again, there goes somebody who brings a case to the court. It's really easy, That's what happened. I never read it. You can actually, already deposit pretty much a great trust in my pupil tracking. If I ever actually had any idea what crime was supposed to be there, or whether crime was actually situated in that sentence, that I actually still made that mistake, then I would be a moron. Let me actually demonstrate it. I can actually solve questions really quickly. That's not a great deal. I'm actually far better than those people. What do you mean by that? Do you even have any idea? Now, I don't really know how that should be called. The cases involving state constitution are heard in state courts. Eine Fälle, besonders bezüglich dieser Länder, einer bundeseigenen Verfassung oder einer Bundesgesetze sind gehörte in den Gerichtshofe nicht, aber diese Gerichtshofe werden nicht staatlicher. Das hatte gar nichts mit staatlicher Gerichtshofe zu tun, aber diese wird ihr eigener Landes- oder nicht Bundes-, aber landeseigener gesetzlicher justikative Systeme. I don't really need to think about it. It's really easy. Federal courts created Congress under Article 3 Constitution, the Supreme Court, District Court, and the Court of Appeals. And the Court of Appeals for Federal Court and the Court of International Trade. These courts can be best described